Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to day 23 of We Rise Purified
Oh,
Power.
are we
I thought
alone?
I thought it was going to be just me.
I'm here.
You're here. Excellent. Yay. Well, welcome to day 23 of We Rise Purified Power. Um, Today we're going to work once more with Vishoka Meditation Stage 1, but I want to give a little bit of context as to why and where we're heading with all of this, because it may feel a little random or sporadic, but it's not. We're on our way to a special practice in our tradition called the Cave of the Heart meditation. And the Cave of the Heart meditation requires that we have a keen understanding of each of the 5 elements, our personal relationship with them in terms of how they comprise together our body, our physical self, but also the relationship between the elements within our personal self and the rest of creation. And there are other practices in our tradition that seem to be meant to purify the subtle body of the influence of the elements at all. Something like Buddha Shuddhi. With the Cave of the Heart meditation, however, we are honoring the elements and we are honoring everything that they have brought into our life, our experience, what we may label as the good, the bad, and the ugly. All of it. We say thank you for all of it in the Cave of the Heart. So much of this 28-day practice has been oriented toward developing relationship with the elements. And I just want to bring that back into our focus a little bit so that you can understand we're not leaving them behind. We're bringing them with us. And as we move more and more to the heart, the invitation is to recognize the presence of the elements in our experiences thus far. So there's that portion of it. And then spending time in the heart, as we have been starting to flirt with this aspect of Vishoka meditation stage 2, where we're bringing our awareness to the lower lotus of the heart. I keep throwing in this word chitta and chitta samvit. And I've been teasing at the relationship between the mind and the heart. And we're starting, I think, to peel back some of the layers to recognize that the mind and the heart, though considered separate aspects of consciousness, are deeply interrelated and interdependent as well. When we talk about the yogic view of the mind, we break it down into 4 individual components, some of which are contained in the brain, some of which extend beyond the brain and its precise physical location in the space of the head. The mind is not contained in the head. It's not confined. The mind can be virtually anywhere and at any time. The body exists within the mind field, and the mind also exists within the heart, rather than the other way around. The 4 components of the mind are manas. Manas is the more primitive, functional part of the mind that receives the information that is being delivered by the senses, the eyes, the ears, the nose, the mouth, and the skin, predominantly. Manas brings that information in and then starts to bounce it around between 2 other portions of the mind, one being ahamkara, which is the part of the mind that assigns meaning to our experiences based on how those experiences either further or counter our sense of self-identity, what we consider to be me and mine. So ahamkara is the meaning maker. And ahamkara is the part of the mind that tends to get us into the most trouble in terms of our attachments to our understanding of the things that have happened in our lives, the meaning that we have assigned to the various impressions that we've been gathering every moment of every day, including when we're asleep, since we entered this world. And it also is pulling on information gathered from past lives. So ahamkara, the meaning maker. The other part of the mind that new information delivered by the senses is oscillating between is chitta. Chitta is the storehouse of every impression, every memory, every thought, every feeling that we have encountered. Chitta is part of the mind, and chitta lives in the lower lotus of the heart. The lower lotus of the heart, anahata chakra, is where pure memory lives. Pure memory, devoid of meaning, devoid of emotion, devoid of interpretation, devoid of context, pure impression, pure memory. That's in chitta. Chitta is untouched, unstruck, because there has been no meaning assigned to the memories that are stored there. And if we remember, anahata chakra is the unstruck. So when we are working with Vishoka meditation stage 1, we're working with ahamkara, but we're also working with the fourth component of the mind from the yogic perspective, which is buddhi. Okay? So ahamkara is the meaning maker, that which assigns meaning to all of the impressions, past, present, and what we anticipate in the future, according to our framework of me and mine, according to our perception of self. Buddhi is the part of the mind that has the power to cultivate buddhi samvat, viveka shakti, the power to see clearly without ahamkara, to discern, to discriminate, to decide. Ahamkara creates its own reality, which feeds asmita, if you're familiar with asmita. Buddhi draws from the power of pure consciousness and is able to see without the influence of ahamkara and its maze of meaning. Vishoka meditation stage 1 allows us to develop a balanced relationship between ahamkara and buddhi. It invites more and more of the presence and influence of buddhi, our power of clear seeing and discrimination, to help us purify the meaning maker, ahamkara, so that we are able to see the contents of chitta without the context assigned by ahamkara. I hope this is making some sense. If we try to go into the heart under the influence of ahamkara rather than under the influence of buddhi, then we will likely be quite troubled by what we find there, because ahamkara is going to go in its less than pure condition and start throwing meaning around, trying to make sense of everything according to how our life has played out thus far. Buddhi is able to see things purely as they are. So Vishoka meditation stage 1 is absolutely necessary for us to become fully established in buddhi before we start to explore chitta in more depth and with more scrutiny. Buddhi is here to help liberate us from the constraints of ahamkara and the meaning that ahamkara assigns to the experiences of our life. Those experiences live in citta. So as we start to explore the heart, we want to do so under the influence of pure consciousness, discernment, and the power to decide what meaning we may want to assign going forward, and ideally a meaning that is liberating rather than binding. One of the ways in which we can liberate ourselves from the binding forces of ahamkara is to approach the contents of the heart with a spirit of gratitude, reverence, and honor. So in our final days, I'm going to sneeze. I am prepared because my allergies are a little pesky today. Excuse me, I hope that's not blasting your eardrums. As we move in our final days of this sadhana toward the lotus of the heart and to the cave of the heart, we will be addressing the elements and the various memories and impressions associated with each of them with this gratitude, reverence, and honor. How can we do that? By bringing in this power of upeksha. Upeksha gives us the ability to see things from a broader perspective, to see things in their proper context without judgment. So that's how it connects back to Sutra 133. We want to approach our own memories and impressions, actions and experiences with upeksha, reminding ourselves that everything in life that we're being given by grace is a gift, genuinely, meant for our growth, meant to help us move toward freedom and fulfillment. And every choice that we make, we are making to the best of our ability, even those that we now maybe wish we had chosen differently. It's important to see those choices in the proper context, that we were indeed doing the best that we could under the given circumstances. And as we gain greater access to powers such as Buddhi Samvid, as we gain access to powers such as Chitta Samvid, both the power to see clearly and the power to truly know ourselves in entirety, then we can liberate ourselves from that judgment that comes from not seeing things in their entirety. Okay, enough talking. Let's move into the practice. And again, today is oriented toward Vishoka meditation stage 1 to really boost our relationship with our own discernment. I'm going to mute myself for a second so I can blow my nose, and then we'll chant. All right. Settle into your seat. And remind yourself as well of what exactly we are invoking with these 3 mantras. The power of greater knowledge and light through the Gayatri mantra, the guidance of the Mother. The power to dispel the darkness and to release ourselves from the forces that bind through the Mahamrityunjaya mantra. And the guidance, the support of all of the auspicious forces of nature through the Vishvadeva. Om. 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 swaha tatsaviturvarenyam Bargo devasya dhimahi Dhyo yona prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yona Prachodayat Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityur Mukshiyamamritat Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityur Mukshiyamamritat Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityur Mukshiyamamritat Om Anupadraha Kritavoyantu Vishvato Dabdasu Aparitasa Utpitaha Devano Yata Saramit Vrede Asanna Prayavo Rakshitaro Dive Dive Om Anupadraha Kritavoyantu Vishvato Dabdasu Aparitasa Utpitaha Devano Yata Saramit Vrede Asanna Prayavo Rakshitaro Dive Dive Om Anupadraha Kritavoyantu Vishvato Dabdaso Aparitasa Utpitaha Devano Yata Sadamit Vride Asanna Prayavo Rakshitaro Dive Dive Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I resolve to meditate. May this meditation practice infuse my mind with clarity and stability, and my heart with purity, love, and compassion. May the forces of creation, the sages of the tradition, and the enlightened masters who always seek out those stranded on the path witness my resolution and shower their blessings for a successful meditation. Adjust your posture in any way that you wish, moving toward greater steadiness and ease. Bring awareness into the space of the belly. And as you enjoy a few breaths here, releasing all unnecessary tension and holding, add an additional layer to your personal resolve for this practice. to move away from judgment. First and foremost, toward the parts of yourself that you deem unvirtuous. Resolve to see your own past, your memories, your previous choices in the light of upeksha, in the proper context. Draw awareness into the nostrils, reminding yourself that everything that has happened in your life thus far has brought you into this precise moment, here and now. And what a beautiful place to be. And draw awareness to Agya Chakra. Resolving to loosen the grip of ahamkara, the meaning maker, and move more and more toward buddhi, the part of you with the capacity to see clearly. Prepare for Nadi Shodhana. Inhale through both nostrils. Exhale right. In left. Out right. In left. Out right. Inhale right. Out left. In right. Out left. In right. Out left. Inhale left. Out right. In left. Out right. In left. Out right. Rest the hand, effortless breath through both nostrils evenly. Vishnu Mudra, inhale both nostrils. Exhale left. In right. Out left. In right. Out left. Inhale left. Out right. In left. Out right. In left. Out right. Inhale right. Out left. In right. Out left. In right. Out left. Release the hand. Effortless breath, both nostrils evenly. Draw awareness to Agya Chakra, inviting awareness and prana to become more intimately joined. This may initially be more of an experience of mind and breath. Begin there, and gradually it will refine to the more essential components, being awareness and prana. Resolve to experience this joyful union throughout the space of the body, beginning at the forehead center for one breath. Eyebrow center. Eyes. Nostrils. Throat center. Shoulders. upper arms, elbows, wrists, palms, fingertips, 2 breaths, palms, wrists, elbows, upper arms, shoulders, throat center, heart center, sternum, navel, pelvic center, perineum, 2 breaths. And as we prepare to journey back upward through each of the chakras along the spine, give a little extra gratitude and reverence to the elements in each space. Beginning with the earth element at Muladhara chakra. Water at Svadhisthana. Fire at Manipura. Just a breath at the sternum. Honor the air element at Anahata. Honor space at Visuddha. A breath in the nostrils. In the eyes. Eyebrow center. Forehead center. Agya chakra for 3 breaths. Inhale and descend to Sahasrara chakra. Exhale, descend all the way to Muladhara. Without pause, inhale and reascend to Sahasrara. Continue with these oscillations, smooth, steady, effortless. Passing through each sacred space along the way in an uninterrupted stream of prana and awareness together in union. Two more breaths, facilitating balance, harmony, and equanimity. The next inhale once again ascends to Sahasrara and perhaps a bit above and beyond. And exhale descends through Sahasrara and Agya, eyebrow center, inner corners of the eyes and nostrils out to 0 point, the pranic field in front of the face. Inhale from 0 point, up through the nostrils, inner corners of the eyes and eyebrow center to Agya Chakra. Exhale again from Agya, down through the eyebrow center, inner corners of the eyes and nostrils to the 0 point. And without pause, at the bottom of exhale, simply inhale from 0 point through the nostrils, inner corners of the eyes and eyebrow center to Agya. Continue for 2 or 3 more oscillations. Continue with these oscillations, but bring a heightened sensitivity to the opening of the nostrils. Sensing the way that the sensation in the nostrils draws you specifically into the here and now. Heightened sensitivity at the inner corners of the eyes. And perhaps experience the way that this precise space brings a degree of sweetness to both prana and awareness as that unified force flows upward and inward to Agya Chakra. Sweetness like honey. And now a heightened sensitivity at the eyebrow center. This space gives us courage, renews our sense of enthusiasm and inspiration. Hones our determination and resolve to stay the course until the final destination is reached. And finally, a heightened sensitivity at Agya Chakra for about 4, maybe 5 more oscillations. A growing curiosity around this space. the powers that are accessible at Agya Chakra. And what Agya Chakra makes available. With the next inhale, once again, draw awareness from the 0 point to Agya Chakra, and there remain. Remain at Agya Chakra for about 10 minutes now. Bolstering the power of discernment, Viveka Shakti, clear seeing, utilizing this clear seeing to loosen the attachments we have to the meaning we have assigned to our experiences in life, and how that meaning has constructed a self-identity. Loosen the attachment. Look to see in the light of the proper context. And dissolve the instinct for self-judgment. Draw prana and awareness back to Agya Chakra from wherever they may have wandered off to. Enjoy a few more breaths here, reminding yourself of and reaffirming the power of clear seeing, the part of you that innately knows and knows that it knows. Your ability to discern real from unreal, truth from fabrication. And remember your resolve to loosen your attachment on your self-judgment and on the meanings you have assigned to your memories that are keeping you limited and bound. Bring the hands together at the heart, pressing the palms gently but firmly. And then bowing this clear mind in the direction of the heart as a show of honor, but also with the desire to see, to perceive, to know. Due to the current quality of the building blocks of my body, senses, and mind, or due to habits or strong impressions from the past, I may not have attended my meditation in as deep and pristine a manner as my inner being intended. And yet I pray to the forces governing both my inner and outer worlds to accept the fruits of my practice as a pure and unblemished offering. Rub the palms together. Place the palms over the eyes or anywhere else you'd like for another breath or two. And then transition back to the outside world in whatever way you like. Okie dokie. Go ahead and reach for your journal. In what ways do you tend to judge yourself most harshly? In what ways do you tend to judge yourself most harshly? What aspects of your personality, which memories or choices would you label as non-virtuous, as bad? And when you think about those qualities, those memories or choices, how do you feel inside? Can you identify one of those memories or choices? Maybe not the most potent one, and attempt to see it in the full context. What was the situation? What choice was made? And can you look from as many angles as possible to seek to understand why the choice was made, how it served you at the time, look for evidence that you were doing the best that you could under those specific circumstances with the resources that you had available. And notice if you have any attachment to the judgment of that part of yourself or that memory or choice. Are you attached? Are you committed to your judgment? And explore why that might be. What does that attachment serve? So feel free to continue to write and to explore, and I'll just talk a little bit more about the context of this stuff. Often when we look back on a memory, a choice that we made that maybe we feel shame or guilt around, that shame or that guilt inspires judgment. A part of the mind comes in and says, this was bad, you were bad. And that judgment is meant to prevent us from making similar choices in the future. But it creates a rift internally, so a break between various aspects of our psyche. The part of the psyche that considers itself virtuous, and the part of the psyche that has been deemed non-virtuous. And now we have a split in our personality, in our psyche. And those two aspects, bye Pamela, love you. Those two aspects of the self are then in a state of constant conflict with one another and are at war with one another. One is held prisoner, one is the oppressor. What this kind of contemplation can do, if we're willing to set the inner judge aside for a moment and then look at the original sin or choice that was made that provokes these feelings of guilt or regret or shame, and really try to look at it from as many different angles as possible to seek to understand why the choice was made in the first place. What were the circumstances? What desire was not being met? In what ways did you not feel safe? In what ways did that choice either try to fulfill an unmet desire or increase the likelihood of your survival? Try to look at it from as many different angles as possible so you can understand how that particular choice was made. Recognize that under those circumstances, you were truly doing the best that you could. Allow for forgiveness. And then resolve, find ways in which you might choose differently going forward. Now that you have more tools available, perhaps different resources accessible, perhaps it's not quite as desperate a situation anymore as it may have been then. How might you choose differently? And then go and consult with the judge. If I now have different resources, different knowledge, different tools, totally different circumstances, I know I can make different choices going forward. So you can stop judging me so harshly. You can stop. It isn't necessary anymore. I know, inner judge, that you were trying to prevent a repeat of a past mistake. But that harsh criticism doesn't actually serve anyone anymore. It just reinforces guilt and shame, which is only going to actually yield more of the same. So there has been an evolution. There is no longer a need for this harsh criticism. I can see the situation clearly. It's time to move on. Does that make any sense? Okay. These are ways in which we can actually move in the direction of that freedom that we're always talking about. Because it's parts of ourself, our attachments, that are actually keeping other parts of ourself bound, imprisoned, oppressed. And so we have to negotiate peace deals between the various components of our personality or psyche. And when those peace agreements can be made, and they're genuine peace agreements built on understanding and a desire from both sides to become reintegrated, that we can move forward with increasing freedom. Regardless of what's happening in the external world. Okay. Any thoughts or questions? It certainly doesn't happen overnight, but when we engage in contemplation like this, it actually can happen quite quickly. And we get better and better and better at it when we're able to recognize, ooh, this is just my attachment. I am attached to continuing to judge myself in this way. Why? Why am I attached? Because it's a preventative measure. I think if I continue to judge myself harshly and to inflict pain on myself, then I can keep myself in line. I can keep myself in check, and I won't rebel like that again in the future. But actually, that isn't the most effective way to move forward. I'm probably just promoting more, stronger future rebellion. So perhaps it's time to explore a different option. Perhaps I can pursue peace instead. And then the more we do that, the stronger that muscle becomes, and the easier these peace deals start to roll out. So take your time finding your way with it and trust that it will get easier. Okay. Anything that you'd like to say or share?
I just know this feeling from the last years because um, I often felt like living in two different worlds, like the world with my family and my friends, and the world with Ayurveda and yoga. And um, I often don't allow to be honest about what I'm doing in the one world and what I'm doing in the other world to each other. And judging myself for maybe did something because it felt right in the moment, but then I went to the other world and then I judged myself.
Yeah.
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 So it got better over the last years, but I really had to struggle with it. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's really normal, Nora. I think it's really, really normal. Um, and I think the less you judge yourself around that, the better. But again, it takes some time to get there and to just recognize that you are a complex individual and that we do have different aspects of our personality that we will slip into in different environments, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, particularly when you're able to do it consciously and say, okay, now I'm, at dinner with my friends in Italy. And so I'm eating at 10 o'clock at night because that's what we do in the summer in Italy. And I'm having a glass of wine and I'm going to wake up a little groggy tomorrow. Cool. And now I'm in India at the Himalayan Institute with my teacher, and I'm going to eat a purely vegetarian diet with no alcohol and no coffee and minimal sugar. And I'm going to spend hours a day meditating and chanting. And that's what I'm leaning into right now. Cool. Both are part of who I am, and both serve a purpose and fulfill different desires. And I'm honest with myself about it. And I'm honest with whoever I feel needs that honesty. And it's taken a little while because I also, when I lived in California, I had my yoga community and then I had my friend group. And I didn't know how to intermingle those two things because I was this person over here and I was this person over here. And yeah, I did over here. I wanted everybody to think I was perfect all the time. And over here, I didn't want anybody to have expectations for me around, like, I just wanted to be able to relax. And then eventually I decided to see how can I invite these two worlds to meet, which is one of the reasons why I am very intentional about calling my students my friends. And there are a lot of, there's a lot of guideline out there that says, like, don't be friends with your students because it can get messy. Well, human life is messy. And in my experience, the more honest I can be with myself and with my students about the messy nature of life, then the more profound the teachings actually become. So when Steph and Pamela, for example, come and live in my house for a week, they see my anxiety attacks. They see how I might pick at my fiance every once in a while. They see, they see the humanity of it. And then they also get to see the impact that the practice has on that humanity and vice versa. So that's been a way for me to heal that samskara of feeling like I need to keep my worlds separate. But it's taken me a long time to get there. And it's taken a lot of self-love and self-compassion, and choosing and prioritizing. I don't want to ever feel like a phony. It's become important to me. It wasn't before. It's become very important to me now. So I'd rather people see me as a flawed human being, but get the real picture of it than the other way around. I don't want to be seen as anything even close to perfect, because then I just am setting everybody else up for a big old letdown. I'm not perfect and I don't want to be. Moving on. So we take our time with that process.
Yeah, I'm not there yet, but
It's
yeah,
okay. It's
I
okay.
just struggle with the fear that people judge me. It's
Absolutely.
like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I struggled with that fear for a very long time as well. Bye, Jenny. Love you. And it was actually a very painful experience of people, uh, of me, my guard being let down because I was going through a divorce and like all kinds of crazy things. And I just couldn't hold up the facade of perfection anymore. And people saw me. And it was so different than the version of myself that I had been putting forward that they were very turned off by it and they rejected me. And that was really painful, really, really painful. And that's what then led me to this resolve of I don't want to present anything that is not true in who I am. I want people to see who I am, to know what they are dealing with from as early a point in our process of getting to know one another as possible, so that I don't let anybody down and I don't set myself up for that kind of heartache again. I want to be loved for who I am, period. And the only way to ensure that is to be who I am and let people decide whether or not they love me. Yeah. Yeah. But again, it's taken a long time to get there. So patience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, my love. I will let you go. I'm going to go snuggle my animals who always
Yeah.
love me exactly how I am.
I
And I'll
should
look
get a
forward to seeing you soon.
cat.
You should get a cat. Well,
Yeah.
I happen to know one that's going to have kittens very soon. So you can always come over and see us and drive home with a kitten.
Okay. Yeah, like Stephanie.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. We have some arriving in approximately 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right. I will look
Okay.
forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, maybe tonight.
Okay,
I
excellent.
try to join. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right,
Okay.
Nora. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.